Welcome back. All right, it's time for you guys to talk to us on our Twitter handle. We're still talking about the icons, the legends, past and present, those that have actually contributed to Nigerian sport, especially on the field, and of course, winning laurels for the country. There's so many. I mean, we've been seeing so many names, so you can keep it coming until Friday next week, because the celebration is going to be on the 16th of October, where fans will have the opportunity, go to the velodrome, hear the stories of these stars being talked about, and also if they have clips, you can really see the clips in real time. If you can do that, of course, you hear the stories, especially the ones you don't even know how well they performed, why they were actually representing the country.
Yeah, the ones that we were too young to really see, while they were performing for the country. So, I mean, it's a fantastic gesture from the sports ministry. I can't wait to see the 60 sporting icons that will be celebrated on Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary. So keep sending all the names to channels_sports, and we will definitely be reading out your nominations. Of course, still a lot to talk about on the show as well. So you can talk about the NBA finals tonight, game 2. What do you think is going to happen between Miami and LA? Miami, will they bounce back, or you think it's going to be 2-0 down for the Heat? The Carabao Cup as well, too. Big fixture in the quarterfinals. Arsenal for beating Liverpool. They're getting Man City in the last 8.
They took them out in the FA Cup, right?
Yeah, so
yeah,
I mean,
but this is different.
Yeah, it is a big fixture, no doubt. And you can talk to us about that as well. To Arsenal fan, do you think you have what it takes to knock out City from the Carabao Cup as well? Anyway, so...
And Manchester United fans also. I mean, they are having Everton. Everton right now, they happen to be the only unbeaten side in England, right? Wow. In the English Premier League right now. Unbeaten, I mean, in all competition, that's what I mean. Both in the Carabao Cup and also in the English Premier League. So they're unbeaten and they're facing Manchester United with the midfield of that. And others and cool. Okay, right. You guys can talk to us also about that one and what Ole can do. It's going to be in December, but then it's still so much. Also, the Champions League draw is also on. So tell us what you think your team, I mean, the club, was it a fair draw for most of the English teams, or even the fact that Messi and Ronaldo was meeting again at the group stage? These are some of the things we'll be talking about. Let's get into it and talk about Nigeria at 60. I mean, the sports minister, the program on China's television, yesterday concerning the independence celebration and all that. Most of the ministers were talking about what we have achieved in the past and what we actually need to build on to ensure that we're not just focusing on elite sports alone, but development. And in the next 10 years, what we intend to achieve. And the sports minister, Sunday Diary, was one of the guests. And he talked about the fact that, look, when we have investments, incentives, infrastructure, when we have these things put in place, Nigerian sports will definitely be better off.
The first eye is infrastructure. There needs to be an infrastructural rationalization. Right now, we don't have the sporting infrastructure necessary and needed for us to be able to develop our sports. We hope we'll have the necessary infrastructure from the stadium, the equipment, etc. The second eye is investment. Beyond government funding, we need private investment all over the world. Without private investment, you cannot develop sports. The third eye is incentive. Government on its part must provide the necessary incentive that will attract investors, both local and foreign, to come into our sports sector and develop our sports and also invest in the talents of our youth. The last one is the P, which is the policy. And we hope that we can deliver a sports industry policy before the end of this year, 2020.
Nigeria's sports minister, Sunday Diary, talking about, what we need to put in place to ensure that when Nigerian sports will be better off for everyone.
Yeah. Spoken very well, like he's always done. And outlined the strategies that they want to work with going forward. Because make no mistake about it, Cecilia, at 60, Nigeria should be doing a lot better than they're doing in sports. He talked about infrastructure, deficit,
which is key.
Very, very key. So how can Nigeria at 60 still not have enough of that? He's talked about investments as well too, incentives for sportsmen. These are issues that should have been, dealt with ages ago. So
That's with 40 years ago.
exactly, but we are 16, we're still talking about. So hopefully, all those great plans that the minister has for sports to go to the next level in the country, hopefully, he can see them through. I'm skeptical for obvious reasons, but
In the full
see.
program, he also talked about the fact that they've actually engaged the private sector. It's not just engage the private
evidence.
sector because it's not going to work in isolation. Fine, we know that sports, youth development, they're all together. But if you now remove the sport and you're kind of, having this conversation with private sector, how to really build a viable sports economy. It's really something that is big, which he said he has really done. So by December this year, the policy will be ready and then we'll build on that. And it's a long-term thing. It's not something we'll realize in the next 2-3 years. But we know that in the next 10 years, as he said, we should, have something really tangible to talk about. Even if we're not winning the World Cup or maybe topping the Olympics and all that. But the fact that, from the grassroots level, you've been able to proper, structure in place. That's just key.
Very, very important. I'm talking about private, involvement. We've seen
adopt talent.
Exactly. We've seen examples, evidences of that already. The stadiums across the country already been adopted by private, individuals, and they're already working on Lagos and Abuja as well, so all around the country like that. So I mean, it's nothing to. Of course, we still got to celebrate all these guys, despite all these issues. Yeah. That's why this celebration of the 60 sports icons is so very, very important for me. Despite, in spite of all the issues, they still find a way
to celebrate
and win laurels for the country. It's remarkable. A lot of the things that they do is against the odds because their counterparts across the world have a series of advantages over them. But Nigerians, a lot of times, based on their talents alone and their drive and their determination, go out there and represent the country very well. So
that's what they do all the time. Shout out to all of them. Kanu Nwankwo, what you just said was what Kanu Nwankwo said about 3 weeks ago, when they were flagging up, the Abuja National Stadium for repairs and all that for, reconstruction and everything. He talked about the fact that when other teams actually come to the country to see where Nigerians are training, they'll be amazed, like, is this where you guys, I mean, you came out from, to come and beat everybody and you won gold at Atlanta and all that. So it's quite surprising. But then when we have all these things fixed and everything, so athletes doesn't have to worry about those things anymore.
Just
perform, focus, and that's it. And of course, they can also be what England, because we try as much as possible to compare other countries with Nigeria. We can also compare the good things that they're doing. For instance, in England, in the UK, what they're doing is the federation that actually perform the sports that have more medals at the Olympics get more money, preparing for the next one and all. So when you also introduce that, I mean, most federations will also need to, step up. And athletes will understand that, okay, if we perform and get to a particular level, more money is going to come in training for the next Olympics. So that is also a good one for Nigeria that we can also, imbibe and focus all on that. Hopefully, 2021 will not be talking about some of these things. We'll be talking about the implementation and how successful some of it would have been, right?
Anyways, before we leave Nigerian sports at 60, I've got a tweet here coming from Bobby Isaac. You're nominating Israel Style Bender for the 60 sports and icons that should be celebrated very, very soon by the sports ministry. So continue to send your messages to channels_sport. Would you want celebrated by the sports ministry? And we'll be taking them on the show. Let's leave Nigerian sports and let's go abroad to the Carabao Cup. Arsenal took on Liverpool last night. Cecilia ended goalless thanks to Leno, who made a series of fantastic saves, 7 in total, and the match went into penalty. Liverpool prevailing. Okay, Liverpool crashing out to Arsenal in that one. There were other games as well to Fulham. Their dire run continues to the start of the season. They lost to Brentford. Cecilia, what is going on with Fulham? 3-0. making his debut.
Yeah,
losing one though.
I mean, he was one ragged. He was everywhere, but then there was nothing much he could do,
of course
especially when
not.
you have one Nigerian. That Brentford guy was just something else. I mean,
Brentford. Yeah, Brentford. Remember, just missed out in qualifying,
qualification,
so they're
yeah.
a very good side.
Yeah.
But still, no excuses for Fulham losing scandalously this way.
They are a Premier League side now. They need to know that.
That's why they're not playing like that. They're playing like they want to go back to the Championship next year. Anyways, in other matches, Stoke City knocked out Premier League side Aston Villa by a lone goal. Like I said, Arsenal 5-4 on penalties.
And Stoke City have Mikel Obi playing 90 minutes in that one.
Yeah, so back to this game. So let's focus on it. Brett Leno, star of the show, man of the match, undoubtedly. 7 saves, like I said, including 2 in the penalty shootout.
I mean, he was great on the night, especially after saving Harry Winston's penalty. I was like, okay, now Joe Willock is not a player I can really trust to take a final penalty.
He was very lucky.
He was lucky, and he came on, he struck it and he got in, and of course he just Adrian couldn't save that. But then at the end of the day, it was a good one for Arsenal fans and the Arsenal players who were really, really happy about this victory.
So Cecilia, Liverpool made a lot of changes, dominated play.
It doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
What matters is the final result.
Exact final
result. The fact
result.
that they are in the quarterfinals.
I am saying that because Arsenal fans, they have this, this idea in their head of how to play beautiful football, Arsene Wenger and all of that. We play the football the right way, blah, blah, blah. But it's very interesting to see because Arteta has come in now, Cecilia, and he's prioritized winning over every other thing.
That's what it's all about.
Over
I mean, when people talk about modern football,
all this talk that the media has been banning about, Arteta is there just to win. And we've seen it in a lot of the games he's played this season, especially from last season, actually, especially against the big sides.
Yeah.
It's not going there trying to outplay them. It's going there with a game plan, stay in the game for as long as possible. Get a chance
and don't concede like 5,
Stay in the game.
Don't be a Man City.
Don't be a City, exactly. So for me, I totally have a lot of time for this kind of
football
mentality. It's all about winning, Cecilia. That's the ultimate entertainment is winning. Forget what anyone is saying, the fans and the media, and what they're trying to push, the narratives and all of that. Anyway,
block it out, don't listen to them and focus on winning your games, right? Stoke City and Tottenham will be in action.
So that's Mikel going up against his former boss,
which is going to be a good one. Mikel, please. Okay. Brentford and Newcastle will also be in action, and Arsenal, Man City, yes, that's the matchup everyone is looking forward to. And Everton and Manchester United, also another big one. It's going to be in December, so we still have some time to wait to see if some of these teams will gel, because they have some new players coming in and all that. By the time the teams are gelling, it's going to be hard for some of that teams to be able to beat them. Especially Man City trying to beef up their defense as usual. They do that every year anyway. Everton, of course, signed a couple of players, 3 key players, and they're all looking well and everything. And Manchester United, well, we don't know if they're going to sign anyone yet, but they are trying to buy everybody and buy nobody at the end of the day. But we'll see. Transfer market is still open.
Welcome back to Channel Sports. This morning, during the break, we saw pretty much everything that went down during the UEFA Champions League group stage draw. And Liverpool, not a bad draw, Cecilia. Like I said, Ajax, Atlanta, and Michelin. Michelin, of course, look like they are the underdogs in that group.
Of course, they are. Not looking at Atlanta, what happened last season, remember?
They started off where they left off last season, scoring goals again. Trashed Lazio just a couple of days ago in Syria. So they're a very good side. Ajax.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I love the group. That's my best group. I'm going to see lots of goals.
Okay, I see what you're saying there. But for Liverpool, it's a fair draw. And Liverpool ambassador Iron Rush has been reacting to that. From the UEFA Champions League, let's take a step down to the Europa League, where playoff matches were concluded yesterday, and some very interesting
vintage
results
Spurs.
for you. I don't know about vintage. They thrashed the Maccabi Haifa 7-2. Hurricane, making sure,
no coming back.
Yeah, don't talk about me that way before a game. There was one of the defenders from Maccabi said something very rude about Hurricane. Hurricane decided to respond by scoring a hat-trick.
2 minutes into the game, I mean, he just scored first.
Like,
Okay,
yeah,
I mean,
that's it. 7-2 for Jose Mourinho's side in the group
Dele Alli
stage.
scored a penalty.
Dele
I mean,
Alli,
he scored a good penalty. I
The
mean, the
only
penalty,
good penalty on the night.
On the night, because he
The
had 3
others were
penalties,
diabolical
but it was just
decisions.
one. That was a good one. I
Yeah.
mean, Dele Alli
What a
walked
skill.
his way into it. I mean, he felt
What
that
a skill, what a meg.
stood up, dusted himself, and
Finished off the penalty.
finished it up. So
7-2.
Dele Alli, is he back? We don't know.
Is he back? Is he
Okay,
back?
now.
We'll see. Fingers
Kiev
crossed.
tyranny.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
very
I'm crying
heartbreaking
right now,
for
but young
Emmanuel
boys.
Egbo
Yeah.
and Kiev Tirana. They went to Switzerland to take on Young Boys. Young Boys are,
Of course.
in Europe. We know them. They have the pedigree and all of that. Very good team. They lost 3-0, so it's the end of the road for Emmanuel Egbo. It's not going to be in the group stage of the Europa League. What we have to say is done a very good job, getting them this far.
Rangers and Galatasaray,
Of course,
2-1.
2 Nigerians in that one. Balogun Leon and Oganekaro. Tebo. Last but not the least, Cecilia, at this
AC
one.
Milan, finally. I mean, when was the last
2-2
time?
against Real. What a game, Cecilia. Needed a very late goal to equalize and needed 9-8 on penalties.
I mean,
to advance.
after going round, you had to go into sudden death and all that.
What a game.
I mean, it was a good one for Milan because the last time they actually won any game at all via penalties was 17 years ago, and that was against Juventus at Old Trafford. I mean, that was when they prevailed in Europe in penalties. But this one, so you can give them a hand. I mean, 24 penalties taken in all.
Incredible.
In this match.
Yeah, 24.
Remarkable. Okay. But then,
anyways, so
the
they're
thing
in the
is,
Europa
they are in
League.
the group stage,
Yeah,
which is
that's all about. Some very good teams in the Europa League. I think
Milan, Tottenham,
AC Tottenham was there again.
Rangers. Okay.
Yeah, Rangers, Celtic, all those.
Celtics,
Yeah. They have got very good chances of winning this competition as long as Sevilla don't crash out and come back into the Europa League.
Sevilla should stay in the Champions League, right?
Yeah, as long as they don't come down. Anyways, before we look at the papers quickly,
take some tweets, right? Okay. You just take some. There's so many. Okay, where are we going to go to? Let's go to start with okay, I'll start with Bosun. Bosun says, I'm not sure what to make of these Carabao Cup draws.
Okay.
It seems there is a plot to get rid of Arsenal at all costs.
Come on,
First it was Liverpool and now Man City. Come on, yes, it ended with that. Come on.
Oh, that's what it ended.
That's how it ended. And of course, official Batrus is choosing Kanu Wanko, Rashidi Yekin, and Choma Joan as the players he feels we can honor. And he went for that to say, congrats to Lewandowski, Kimmich, De Bruyne, and all the recipients of the award. And also congratulations to Arsenal for beating Liverpool.
Leno made the difference.
Made the difference. Maitland Nice is the new penalty king in
Very,
EPL.
very, yeah, it was very composed.
He was good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
What else?
Okay, Bosun said Thunder struck twice as the Gunners nick
it
again against via penalty, this time at Liverpool Fortress of Gunners, of
obviously
course.
an Arsenal
Another
fan.
Describe is also nominating Israel Adesanya. I mean, there's so many people.
Really? I told you, Cecilia, those guys have done something unprecedented.
Yeah.
UFC, really? Like, you're not even done with boxing. You have guys at the highest level of mixed martial arts.
Which is good.
They've got to be on
And
that
Tommy
list.
Adekola said Rashidi Yekini deserves a special celebration today for putting Nigeria in the world map in football after demolishing Bulgaria in 1994.
Absolutely, Cecilia.
There's so many coming up, but then we need to go to the paper style and get out of the studio. Complete Sport, I'll start with that one. Complete Sport right here, Akpoguna says, I can't wait to play for Super Eagles. Right, okay, that's a good one.
Nice.
The more the merrier, right? The more the merrier.
Why not?
The more the merrier.
Options,
Leonard the hero for Gunners, and Bukayo dumps Nigeria for England. Come on, not dumping. He got a call up, so he needed to honor the country that he grew up in. I mean, that's the country that it was nurtured, buttered, and everything and all that. So he owns everything to England. So and he got a call up, and he had to honor the national call up for England. Okay.
So, but Cecilia, we know how this ends. So we know how it ends with Nigerian players playing for England.
When you're good,
that's all I'm
you
gonna
stay
say.
there.
That's what I'm going to say, Cecilia.
When you're good, you stay there.
John Fashion was great. Yeah, how many games did he play?
Consistency, that's what matters.
Yeah,
when you're great and there's no one to replace you, you will be great and you will stay there and continue
John
playing.
Fashion was
the
great
next
and
one,
was
Sporting Life.
consistent. How many games did he play for England? That's
what club was he playing for again?
Come on, Cecilia.
Okay.
You know the club already.
Okay.
The Bad Boys. Anyways, group stage draw. We're going to Sporting Life. That's our last paper for review. Leno stopping Wilson rigging shootout. Of course, penalty hero for the Arsenal. The group stage draw as well. So you have to set up Messi Ronaldo clash. It made it sound like it was a setup It was just a draw. And they happened to find themselves in the same group. Chelsea to pay Kepa £5 million to sit on the bench. That is ridiculous.
Who sat down to calculate that money?
Atlanta relish Liverpool Ajax games. Lewandowski crowned king, of course. Herder named best women's player. Osimhen okay for Eagles friendlies.
Of course, it will be okay for that. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a great weekend.
I am Tayo Salam. Enjoy the rest of your day.